Abi, and I have with me in the studio Shabi Oligbe Taiwo Adeola, aka Shab. And this morning we're going to be reviewing um Nigerian newspapers in no particular order. We have the Nigerian Pilot, we have the Daily Asset newspaper, we have the Daily Sun newspaper, the Nigerian News Direct newspaper, Nigerian Tribune, we have Leadership newspaper, Daily Times, These Day newspaper, People's Daily, National Economy, Blueprint newspaper, Daily Trust, amongst others. And like I said, we're going to be reviewing them in no particular order. And yes, we also have our interns in the building. Favor is here. Hi, Favor.
Hi, thank you very much. Hi, good morning.
And hi, good morning. Introduce yourselves.
Hi, good morning. My name is Bera.
Hi, Vera. You're welcome.
Hi, good morning. My name is Covenant.
Come on, Rockstead.
Keeping
He did not say you should do national anthem.
Good morning, guys.
Hi, you're all welcome. Welcome, Lagos. Today is Tuesday, the third day in the month of August 2021, and right about now it's about 39 minutes past the hour of 9 a.m. in our Lagos studio, and we're just gonna go right into the papers, starting with the Nigerian Pilot. Shabi.
All right. At the very top of the Nigerian Pilot, IGP appoints DCP Tunji Diso has replacement for suspended Abakiari. You can get the story on page 6. Nigerian students shocked to see friends' corpse in anatomy class.
So I saw the story and it was really funny but painful at the same time. So apparently he's a medicine student, right? I know how when they are doing their practicals, they bring a cup from the morgue and they're supposed to dissect it. That's what they use for their practicals, right? So they bring out this cup with 2 bullet wounds, and when he sees the face, he was like, "This is his friend." Like he has been friends with this person for 7 years, and he didn't even know the person was dead. So immediately he saw it, he literally ran out of the class screaming, And by the time they ask him what happened, like, that's his friend. I'm like,
that's really sad.
yeah, it's very
But the
sad.
story is on page 13. Boldly written on the front page, patients groan. The writer under that says, hospitals discharge patient as resident doctors nationwide strike enters day 2. Some patients forcefully discharged as to seek health care services elsewhere. Few consultants, house officers seen attending to large number of outpatients. Federal government doesn't negotiate until we go on strike.
and that's
Doctors.
and that's literally the fact. The government will not even pay attention to them if they don't have to take like I said, strike only happens as a last resort when
Yes.
dialogue doesn't work. So these people must have been talking and the government have ignored them and they have gotten to this point. So imagine somebody who is due for surgery.
And
They've been discharged forcefully. Nobody's going to attend to them. Imagine somebody who has something, an emergency or something.
you can't even attend to the person.
So
It's
where are
that
they going
bad.
to go to? How many people afford private hospitals? Because that's the point now. That's if you're being discharged when you're sick, when you're supposed to still be in the hospital, in the resident hospital, in government hospitals, it means go and find help somewhere else. And the next place is for private hospitals, and some of them they're expensive. Honestly speaking, they're really expensive to
Really expensive.
Ah.
Well, the story is on page 8 of the Nigerian Pilot. Nigeria receives 4 million doses of Moderna COVID vaccine from US. Can get the story on page 6. FCT's chief judge resigns, take over as NUJ administrator. The story is on page 10. Nigeria cannot have a Christian president now.
Why?
Why?
As how? No. What's the point? What's the
I
reason?
think there's so much controversies about this 2023 elections. At
Would
first they went
the
tribal,
country fold up?
At first they went tribalistic.
Is the country going to fold up? Think I'm probably going to go into details of this story later.
Yes, we
to
have.
know the why, because you can't just make this kind of declaration. It's like when when the Northerners said presidency should not be rotational, that it's not constitutional for it to be rotating between ethnic groups of this country. And I'm like, have we been reading the constitution backwards? So when people come out to say these things, I want to get more details on this. So I'm definitely going to try and find out the why, because it doesn't sound right.
Well, the story is right on the page 11. Sorry about that, page 11. Do not preach division in Nigeria. NYSC Digital's core members.
But they are saying that Nigeria, a Christian cannot rule Nigeria. So can you not be a hypocrite?
But the story is on page 9. Don't vote for PDP, APC again, Jega tells Nigerians.
When he was there as was INEC chairman, what did he do? I
Lot
think
of
I saw
dramas.
people lose. They don't. That's the point. That's actually the goal of having integrity when you're in office. So even when you leave there, what you say can still be respected. I don't think Jega has any moral right to give any advice
To Nigerians.
anymore.
Well, the story is right on page 6. Stop threatening democracy, harassing journalists. NUJ tells DSS.
Not
The
to
story
do-
is on page 10 of the Nigerian pilot. And at the very bottom, external reserves rise to $33.38 billion. Can get the story on page 5 of the Nigerian pilot.
And moving on to the Daily Sun newspaper, COVID-19, 30 die in 7 days in Lagos. And the writer under that says, Sanwo-Olu flashes red flag, says state recording 6 deaths in at isolation centers daily. 4,300 confirmed cases in July alone, and the Delta variant cases hit 32. All of this can be found on page 7 of the Daily Sun newspaper. The Hush Puppies saga, DCP Tunji DCU replaces Abakari as IRT boss. That can be found on page 3. And on the doctor strike, they say doctor strike bites hard. And the rider under that says hospitals discharge patients. NMA 6 withdrawal of controversial circular on scheme of service. All of this can be found on page 6 of the Daily Sun newspaper. NNPC lists conditions for oil major divestment. That can also be found on page 2. DSS fails to produce 4 out of 12 detained Igboho's aides in court. This can be found on page 4. Let's just what because I don't want to assume the worst about the fact that you arrested 12 people. There's a court trial going on, and you've been asked to present these 12 people because they have to come and speak in court. And you're only these 4. They didn't just bring them. They have literally been dragging their feet about this. So the question here is not even the fact that this is not the first time that the court has given an order and the DSS, have flaunted that order. This is not the first time. So has the DSS now become more powerful than the Supreme Court of Nigeria?
Or the law.
Exactly. Have they become the law themselves? Because why would the court tell you to present somebody in your custody, somebody you claimed is in your custody, and you can't bring them? The same way they didn't bring out Nnamdi Kanu for trial. This person is in your custody, right? I bet they have killed them. I don't want to assume the worst.
There are a lot of chaos about that Nnamdi Kanu's arrest. And in the news some weeks ago, a lot of chaos, like I said, at the front of the courts,
Yeah.
I think that's a major reason why he wasn't.
So for this particular case, because it's either they really did not arrest up to 12 people and they just exaggerated the number.
That means they've been lying about
I'm trying to see the possible reason why the court will say bring the people you claim you have and you can't present them. So it's either they exaggerated the number of people they actually arrested, or something has happened to them. So they need to come clean.
We'll find out about that.
Anyway, that story can be found on page 4 of the Daily Sun newspaper. Rivers Assembly OK's bill banning open grazing and open rearing. And the writer under that says, we will expose criminals among us. Taraba Heathers are saying, so they know they have criminals among them. Okay. That can be found on page 7 and page 8 of the newspaper. And hunger in the land worsens as Nigerians groan as price of foodstuff soar. Of course, this can be found from page 18 to page 21 of the Daily Sun. Banks in Abuja comply with CBN directives, set up FX teller points, sell dollar at 412. That can be found on page 2. Now, for people who do not understand what this FX and other CBN getting involved, it simply means that you can now withdraw dollar from your ATM points. So you know how the bureau de change, you know how the bank will be selling dollar at say 400 and something, but you go to black market and they're selling for 500, and we're saying dollar is high. So they are trying to regulate and make sure that it's only one price. So the bureau de change people will no longer have access to dollars. So dollar will no longer be on the streets. It will only come from the bank. So you can walk into the bank, or you can actually withdraw from the ATM. So I think that's going to
not just any account.
Do you have dollar in your account?
I don't even have a dollar account.
Do
So
you have, okay, with
I don't
people
have a dollar
that
account.
this thing concerned, they know.
someone like Favor, no, I'm sure she has.
Favor, it's true. Favor, your face look like dollars. There's a dollar sign. Okay, moving on from that. That can be found on page 2. APC moves to those repos of Ward Congress. That can be found on page 28. And finally, MAN unfolds program for 50th anniversary. Page 2 of the Daily Sun newspaper.
All right, moving on to the leadership newspaper. Forex, CBN assures customers of banks compliance. And the writer under that says, Halley's fears over domiciliary account deposits. You can continue reading on page 4 of the leadership newspaper. I'm boldly reading on the front page, fallout of Supreme Court judgments. Osinbajo, APC governors, ministers explore safe options. You can get the story on page 4. And the writer under that says, Buni committee is Kiamu's brainchild. Says Omoagige, I was only consulted to fashion way forward for the party over barrage
As per
of
fashion
litigations,
designer now.
says minister. You can get all the stories on page 4. DCP Tunji DC takes over from Kiari as hierarchy edge. The story is on page 5. Doctor strike cripples activities in public hospitals. Of course, what do you expect? You can get the story on page 3 of the leadership newspaper. Team Nigeria guaranteed Tokyo Olympics medal. We talked about this yesterday.
Yeah, we did.
I'm happy we're getting there after how many years. Page 21 of the leadership newspaper, the story is right there. Global Education Summit raises hope for Nigeria. The story is on page 11 of the leadership newspaper. Reject APC, PDP in 2023. Jega tells
So
Nigerians.
when he says we should, what he's saying is that we should reject both APC and PDP. So who do
what
we?
other party?
We have other parties.
We have many other parties.
But what's
quite
strong?
a lot of
They're
them.
not strong enough
Yes.
to contest for presidency.
Maybe if he has one that is stronger than, we should just come
Even
out to
if
tell
they
us rather
form-
than being
Even if they form a
controversial
new
about
party,
this.
maybe the same people with the effects, they will start moving. So there's no, what's the point?
And the writer under that says both parties corrupt.
It's not that he knows, though. It's not that he knows. When they were rigging election in INEC office, he did not say that they were corrupt. As I said, this man has lost the moral right to be giving this sort of advice to Nigeria.
Jega launching his political career is a mushroom party. In a mushroom party.
So
I like
he
that
does no.
caption.
Okay, can we take that again? So he's trying to start his own. He's trying to go into politics. That's no
now
wonder.
you get
No
the
wonder they're
story.
just talking what they don't have.
Says
sense.
APC. It is an unpardonable comparison. PDP.
Compare PDP and APC.
wait,
What's the difference?
Difference?
There's literally the same people that make up both parties. So for me, there's no difference. Okay, what's his name now? By the time one person stops being the governor of a particular state from a party, he moves to the other one. You know, so what's the? It is a great comparison. They are exactly birds of a feather. There's
Flock
no
together.
difference. It's just that the person saying itself is no different from them. That's just it.
And finally, COVID-19 third wave. Federal government declares Lagos, Akwa Ibom, River State, Kano State, Federal Capital Territory hotbeds.
Of course it is.
Can get the story on
These
page
are some of the
11.
most populated places in Nigeria and places where you have airports where people can fly in and fly out. So we are more exposed. The problem is that the citizens in this state, are they aware? So it's one thing for the government to just say, oh, these places are red flags. But exactly. So that's what
So
they
they can
should
take
be
proper
concerned about.
precautions and then, you know.
Okay.
Moving on.
And we move on to the Nigerian Tribune. Reject APC PDP in 2023. Jaga tells Nigeria. The stories we just read here. And of course, APC Buhari failed Nigeria and says PDP. Don't lump us with PDP. APC replies. So these are just exchanging words. You can actually read up more on that on page 22. Agree with the APC stakeholders set for showdown as governors, ministers hijack structures. And the rider under that says 4 factions in Lagos, 3 results submitted, seek redress through constituted channels, Boni appeals. Okay, that can be found on page 23 of the Nigerian Tribune. Ogun governor loses his father. Sad one. That can be found on page 26. NNPC list conditions for oil majors divestment. That can be found on page 6. DC replaces Kiari as intelligence response team head. Did they also check the background of this one too? That can be found on page 5 anyway. On COVID-19, Lagos or your FCT 4 orders on red alert as third wave rages. The writer under that says 4.08 million Moderna vaccines donated by US awaiting efficacy test by NAFDAC. Don't take Moderna if you've taken AstraZeneca. Someone is warning. AstraZeneca. Oh, wait, I was just talking about it that day. I think
mix the two together. You have one already.
You know, there are people that
one already.
they should allow to tell us the thing that will happen. Are people going to die if they mix the two together? I think if you tell people exactly what will happen to them, they would
rather than
just saying don't take it.
Information to yourself.
Anyway, still on that, FG put enforcement committees in place at airports. All of this can be found on page 3 of the Nigerian Tribune. Controversy in education agencies as tenure of Oloyede Rashid, 15 orders come to an end. That can be found on page 4. Makinde renominates 7 former commissioners. That can also be found on page 25. Lagos Free Zone, U.S. mission in Nigeria to facilitate increased investment. That can be found on page 7. Patients' relatives lament as resident doctors strike take toll on hospital nationwide. And NMA 6 withdrawal of controversial circular. All of this can be found on page 4 of the Nigerian Tribune newspaper.
Alright, moving on to the Blueprint newspaper. Supreme Court ruling, Oshibajo, APC governors move to reconcile Keyamo and others. And the writer on that says, well, you can continue reading the story on page 6. Federal government bemoans U.S. Europe's rejection of made in Nigeria foods.
Before, really, are they complaining? So when they want to start importing made in Nigeria food, it's not like they can't do it, But the standard doesn't mean the standard of you exporting food. What you're saying is that the packaging, you're making sure that it's healthy enough. The storage process, okay, the preservation process, all of this is up to the standard of the country you want to take it to, because this is not Nigeria where we accept rejects. I was talking about how we went to Ghana and the Lipton tea we take in Ghana was different from the one we take here. Even Coke is different. So we don't even care what they are bringing to us, but these people care. Okay, so if it doesn't meet their standard, they will not accept it. Are we shocked? No, we're not.
But the story is right on page 22. And at the very top, Blueprint head office now at.
Stop announcing.
We said that yesterday. Customs intercept 6 containers of unprocessed timber and arrest 2. Page 23 of the Blueprint newspaper. And boldly written on the front page, after 44 years in operation, NNPC ready to declare 2020 dividend. GMD. And the writer under that says list relinquishment cost, legacy liabilities, and others for oil majors divestment. Fixing nation's 4 refineries should be the ultimate Adefolari. It's sign of efficiency in management, Idakolo. All this you can get on page 6 of the Blueprint newspaper. And we have pictures on the front page, It's quite tiny. I wish I could take that. But moving on, postponed eco currency. Members fear Nigeria will dominate monetary policy. Rwanda.
I think that's for the ECOWAS currency. They want to have like one currency for West Africans. You know how dollar is valid in some other countries. We want to have a unified currency also, but I don't know how that's a fear for other countries that Nigerians will dominate that.
Still on page 22 of the Blueprint newspaper, and at the very bottom, Benue, police kill 3 suspected kidnappers, rescue commissioner's wife.
I think that's the picture. I think that's
that's a picture on the front page of the paper. The page 13 of the Blueprint, that's where the story is. IGP names Tunji Diso as Kiari's replacement. Well, it's on page 1, the very front page. Over 8 million subscribers dump MTN. Others for illegal providers.
I feel like dumping them too. I don't know why they're dumping them. I feel like dumping them. I was frustrated yesterday.
And I'm sure you would still. Don't worry.
I might just.
Okay, and lastly, COVID-19 killing 6 daily in Lagos. Sanwo-Olu alert.
And what are
The
they
story
doing
is on
about
page-
it?
It's quite tiny. 7, 2, 1.
And
Well,
you
story
find
is- you find out in the
Sha
paper.
dear.
Yeah.
Okay, we're actually out of time, but I'll just quickly run through the Daily Trust newspaper. In 2023, why Nigerians should reject APC and PDP Jaga. And Transcorp's half-year profit leaves by 713%, Seplat net of $62 million. And I think that can be found on page 21. And Buhari's mom. Okay, sorry. But that's mom, right? Because it's like Buhari mom. Mom now. Is that not mom? Yeah. Buhari mom as APC weighs options on Buni committee. What's mom?
Mom has APC ways options.
Okay, you can find out which mom we're referring to because that's like mom.
Let's go.
Okay, the writer on that says cracks widen, uncertainty prevails. Caretakers committee meets today. Osibanjo orders continue search for solution. Danger ahead. Lawyers are warning. And medical. So you have image of hospitals. The hospitals are literally empty. So they are taking pictures of the rooms, and you can see people are actually being forced out. Medical services crippled. Patients stranded as resident doctors down tools. Okay. And COVID-19, Lagos records 30 deaths in a week. Sanwo-Olu is saying, I'm seeing
6 per day.
okay.
30 in a week.
You can do the maths by yourself.
Yeah, that
4
makes
arrested as shite locals clash in Kano State. And then 2 years without Dadiyata family resorts to prayers. I think this is another kidnapped victim, and it's been 2 years. Okay, that's the much we can take on the newspaper review this morning. And yeah, remember that the newspaper review comes your way from Monday to Friday here on Lagoon Radio between the hours of 9:30 to 10 a.m. And coming up next is you real estate. Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, so yeah, stay.
Ariella
Yes.
Ajanoku.
So do well to stay connected. If you haven't downloaded the Lagoon Radio app, please download the app from your Google or Apple store, and also make sure to follow us on social media on Instagram at Lagoonradio.Ng. My name is Abigail Mba.
And I am Taiwo Adeola Shabiole.
And from everyone else in the studio, we say good morning.
Morning.
You are listening to